all of a sudden a deep voice above their heads said, "Who goes there?" The foxes jumped. They looked up quickly and they saw, peeking through a small hole in the roof of the tunnel, a long, black, pointed, furry face. Can you see him there on the picture? Which animal was that? Oh, yes, it was a badger, wasn't it? So they've met a badger. "Badger!" cried Mr. Fox. "Foxy!" cried Badger. "My goodness me, I'm glad I found someone at last. I've been digging around in circles for 3 days and nights, and I haven't the foggiest idea where I am." I haven't the foggiest idea where I am. Now here we have, haven't got the foggiest idea. Now, what does this mean? This is a little phrase. Well, the badger has been digging around in circles for 3 days and nights. So do you think he knows where he is? Do you think he thinks he's going in the right direction? He's definitely sure which direction he's meant to be going in. Or no, he doesn't, does he? So therefore, the phrase, the foggiest idea, means to not know or understand something at all. So he has no idea where he is. So the author here has said, hasn't got the foggiest idea. So that means his idea is a little bit foggy. He doesn't know where he is. Okay, so let's carry on reading. Badger made the hole in the ceiling bigger and dropped down beside the foxes. A small badger, his son, dropped down after him. "Haven't you heard what's happening up on the hill?" Badger said excitedly. "It's chaos! Half the wood has disappeared and there are men with guns all over the countryside. None of us can get out, even at night. We're all starving to death." So just like Fantastic Mr. Fox's family, Badger's family are also starving to death. Okay, so it says here, it's chaos. Now, we know that on the hill, we have the farmers and all of the people that work on their farms. So there's a lot of people out there and they're all standing round Mr. Fox's home. So therefore, chaos, which is a noun, has 2 syllables, chaos, means a state of confusion with no order. So it's not organised at all and it's everything's confused, everybody's confused and nothing's going right. Okay, so some synonyms of this are disorder, disorganisation. So maybe you could say my desk at school is chaos because there's no organisation. Mayhem, disarray. Okay, so these are all synonyms for chaos, which means there's a state of confusion with no order, nothing's organised. Now an antonym for chaos would be order. Okay, so we have here another usage. So in the chapter it talks about the hill being chaos because lots of people there, but you can also use it in this context. Snow and ice have caused chaos in the streets. Okay, so the snow and ice is so bad that there's cars everywhere, nobody can move. Okay, it is chaos, there's a big traffic jam. Okay, so there is chaos on the hill and the badger is telling Mr. Fox, but I think he already knows, doesn't he? Okay, so let's go to the next page. "Who is we?" asked Mr. Fox. "All of us diggers. That's me and Mole and Rabbit and all our wives and children. Even Weasel, who can usually sneak out of the tightest spots, is right now hiding down my hole with Mrs. Weasel and 6 kids. What on earth are we going to do, Foxy? I think we're finished." Okay, so he thinks that they're all going to starve to death because they can't get food. So we have Mole, Rabbit, we have Badger, we have Weasel and all of their families, as well as Mr. Fox and his families who can't get out because of the farmers, because it is chaos on the hill. Okay, so let's have a look at our first question. So our first question is, what was happening at the same time as the farmers were sitting up on the hill waiting for the foxes to starve? So in this question, let's have a look for the key words. So the first key words are at the same time. So we're not looking at what is happening before or what is happening after. We are looking at what is happening at the same time, okay? And we are looking at what is happening at the same time as the farmers, okay? So we're looking specifically now at what the farmers are doing while they were sitting up on the hill. Okay, so we've got at the same time, needs to happen at the same time as the farmers were sitting up on the hill. So let's have a read of the start of the chapter, because this is where this tells us what is happening. Okay, so Mr. Fox and the 3 remaining small foxes dug fast and straight. They were all too excited now to feel tired or hungry. They knew they were going to have a whacking great feast before long, and the fact that it was none other than Boggis's chickens they were going to eat made them churgle with laughter every time they thought of it. It was lovely to realise that while the fat farmer was sitting up there on the hill, oh, look, we have farmer, we have one of the words from our question. We have sitting up, another of our keywords, and there on the hill. Okay, and waiting for them to starve, which is also in our question. Now, what does it say was happening at the same time? Well, it says he was also giving them their dinner without knowing it. So because they were standing up on the hill, Mr. Fox could go to their farms, couldn't he? So therefore, that was what was happening at the same time. So while they were sitting up on the hill, they were also giving them their dinner without knowing it. So I've written an answer to this question. So while the farmers were sitting up on the hill, waiting for the foxes to starve, they were also giving them their dinner without knowing it. Okay, so there we go. We have completed the first question. Now let's have a look at the second question. What did the foxes do straight after they heard the voice above their heads? So they heard the voice above their head, didn't they? And who was it? Yes, it was the badger, wasn't it? So let's have a look at the part of the chapter. Oh, no, before, let's highlight the keywords. So what did the foxes? Okay, so we're looking specifically at the foxes. What did they do straight after? Okay, so not 1 minute, not 2 hours after, not before, straight after. At that very moment, what did they do straight after? And straight after they heard the voice, okay? So what did the foxes do straight after they heard the voice above their heads? Now, it says here to tick 1, okay? Are we going to tick 2? No, we're just going to tick 1 because that's our next keyword in our question. So what did the foxes do straight after they heard the voice above their heads? Tick 1. Did they look up? They saw a long black furry face, or they jumped. Okay, so let me read that part of the chapter to you, and then I'm going to leave you to complete this question on your own. So all of a sudden, a deep voice above their heads said, "Who goes there?" The foxes jumped. They looked up quickly and they saw, peeking through a small hole in the roof of the tunnel, a long, black, pointed, furry face. Okay, so in that little part of the extract, which you will find on page 46, you can work out what the foxes did straight after they heard the voice above their heads. And we are only going to tick 1, aren't we? Okay, so if you could have a go now at question 2, and you also have some other questions on your resource, Year 2 Reading, 3rd of March, Resource 2. So complete question 2, have a go at the other questions, and then don't forget to go back to question 1 that we did together and fill that out. And you can go back in the video to see what we wrote for that question. Okay, Year 2, will have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in our next reading lesson. Bye.